Okay, thank you very much. I think we should start. So our today's topic, we talk about the from COVID to SuperBit. So when we talk about SuperBit is it's a very big word and it's not found in the dictionary, meaning that it's talk about habitual action. So meaning that nowadays, I think that some of the state, a few states already start working today. So that's why today is the first day they might have a culture shock, and also at the same time they might learn how to adapt to the environment. For example, during lunch, how we're going to buy lunch, where should you eat, how do you adapt back to the working environment. So all this are the what is that called, the culture, the new culture, the habitual that need to learn after at this period of time. So because of that, so today it would be great that we listen to the expert to about how do we master our habitual action to convert from our daily activities to be a habitual action, from a habitual action, how it would become the culture of the organization. So let me introduce you the speaker of the day, the expert and the guru of the day is Mr. Prem. Mr. Prem has excellent leadership skill with the high EQ, analytic, and strong knowledge in technical, people, and operation management. Obtained his master degree in engineering business management and also certified MBA from Oxford Business School, UK. He's doing his postgrad doctorate in business administration as well. So not only that, currently he has experience of conducting various type of the training. Before this, for 25 years of working experience in various sectors, his last position as an operating director, plant Head Thailand Melaka. He spent over 10 years in training, specializing in process improvement. So when we talk process improvement, means that you need to know how to convert your daily activities into the process themselves. And also from the process, how do you convert it into the habitual action? Because currently, together with Dosh, I'm writing one book. It's called The Predictable Accident, Malang Berbau. So that's why when we are looking into the BBS, behavior-based safety, and also ISO 45001, so it's very much on the behavioral side and also on the habitual side. Without further taking our time, so let me pass back to our guru today, Prem, to start with the presentation today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Datuk, for the wonderful introduction, and a very good morning to everyone. I hope my voice is loud and clear. Everyone can hear me. All right, so today I'm going to touch the topic from COVID to SuperBit to normalize the abnormal habitual action. When we say about habitual action, meaning it is more on habits, how do we develop habits? What are those habits like? The things that we do repeatedly is known as habit, meaning that, example, when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do in the morning. So you tend to do something, a routine thing. It becomes a routine, day in, day out, you're doing the same thing. I mean, you wake up in the morning, probably spend a few minutes, probably drinking water. Some may not drink water, or some after wake up and then go for a coffee. The normal routine begins. So what happened is it became a habitual practice, right? And recently with this COVID, which has caused us lockdown, I believe there's many habit has been changed from the previous what we have done, meaning we've been staying home for more than 40 over days, and comparatively we never had such a long leave before in our entire life, 40 over days leave, and some have started work today. And I believe when they enter the manufacturing or industry, whatever industry they're working in, there'll be some shocks, probably cultural shocks, and how they're going to actually fit into the organization. How are they supposed to address certain things? How are they going to go into a meeting room, meeting people, and how is the desk even arranged? Because some of the desks in the organization probably arranged in a cluster form. But now you look at it, it's like it's going to be totally different. How are they going to arrange the office? Because the sitting place is going to be like 1 over meter or even 2 meters. In a restaurant, it is recommended to have 2 meter. Can Nick silent? Those please silent your mic. Right, so we're talking about 2 meters distancing. So is the office actually prepared for the distancing of the office layout? So there is a lot of activities that every industry, any office that you're working in has to do. All right, when you talk about habit, example, a child is going to a school, and probably the children is now at home, and if you can notice that the habit has changed, right? Because going to school, waking up in the morning, going through the routine thing, and now probably the child may wake up a bit late. So when they start to go to school, they also find the atmosphere is totally different. And how are we going to change their habit? Just sharing my past experience. I was working in Thailand for almost 10 years, and the habit that I had in Malaysia, I could not bring it over to Thailand. I had to change myself to change my habit, because it was a cultural shock when I was in Thailand, because the way people adapt to certain things, the way people approach to certain things, it was totally different. Over here in Malaysia or even in Singapore, we see people are very like fast and furious. They are on the move. They are urgent for everything. Everything seems to be urgent. But when I go to Thailand, it is like they go by phases, meaning that they take one by one a issue. They don't really rush into things, but of course they accomplish what is needed to be accomplished. But the approach is totally different. So I could not actually put the habit that I had in Malaysia to actually fit into the Thai culture. So, but again, what I have to do is I have to change my culture of looking things, and have to adapt into that kind of culture and eventually become a habit. All right, so we know that the next few events that we're going to do in this post-COVID, or now after the relaxation of the MCO, there'll be a lot of changes or different things have to be done. Example, I'm going to tell you a short story. This child was going for a fun fair. A fun fair, you know, there's a lot of game actions and so on. So what he noticed, there was a balloon seller who's selling balloon in various colors. So he was noticing that after a few guys bought this balloon, they just let it go in the air, and he found that the balloon was rushing towards up, and he was so excited about it, and he told his mom, "Hey mom, I want to get some balloons." So the mom told him that, "Okay, go ahead, son." And he went to the balloon seller and asked, "Sir, which balloon color actually fly the highest?" So the seller actually smiled at this boy and told him that it is not about the color, little boy. It is about what you have inside the balloon. The amount of gas you have inside the balloon, is it too much or less or just sufficient, which counts. If you have too much of gas, it probably may not be flying in an oriented zone or strategized zone. Or if it's too less, it may not fly to the height that you have desired. But you must have sufficient gas to ensure you reach to what you have desired, the actual height that you want to fly. So it's not about the color. The moral of the story is about, it's not about what you are and who you are, it's about what's inside you. Changes is unavoidable. So are we prepared to change ourselves in different type of, in terms of habit? Normalizing the abnormal, meaning that COVID is something not normal to us or not normal to any part of this world. But things have changed significantly that we have to adapt to the new norm. A new norm is something is within you. What I'm going to talk about when I talk about habit is all about you, nothing else. It's not talking about others, but it's about you and what kind of changes it's actually going to embark in you. It is very important. The habitual changes is so crucial in your daily life or the next changes. It is so crucial. All right, so let me move on to a slide. All right, so I think that I've done the introduction portion. So the list to do. Okay, so now you can never get it all done, meaning that you may be thinking after this COVID release or post-COVID, what am I going to do? There's so many things for me to do. Which one to do? Let me tell you, my friends, you can never do everything at one go. All right, you have to prioritize. I'll go into that slide in details later on. And the most important things I look at it is the mindset changes, right? The more you do, the more things there's to do. Did you ever realize that you're so busy and always busy, and you never had time to finish all your job? You're always busy doing, and you always complain that I have no time to do. We always say that we always accuse the time of not sufficient. Can you give me 48 hours per day or even more? So you're actually doing, the more things you do, actually you have more things to do. Right? Keep on repeating. All right. And the time that you spend doing one thing actually is taken from other thing. Example like just for today. Every one of you who engage in this webinar, you have actually taken your time to actually enroll yourself or listen to this webinar. You have taken for somewhere else. But in a daily life or in a working life, in your personal life, when you spend on something else, you are actually taking this time and actually investing into something else. So you want to make sure what you invest is worthwhile, which is very, very crucial and very, very important. All right, so and as I say, if everything is important, then nothing is important, because if you don't know how to plan, it seems that everything is important. When you say everything is important, let me tell you, you'll be a generalist. You can't be a professional or meeting certain things, goals and objectives can't be met, because why? Everything seems to be important. But let me tell you, most of them that have this kind of plan in their mind may not achieve certain things. All right, what we need to do is work expand to fit the time, meaning that we have to plan what to do on that time and exactly prioritize what needs to be done. Okay, I'll be going into that in details. All right, so why should I pay attention? Okay, so now the most important thing is demanding workload. You may be saying that, hey, how can I schedule? I have so much of work. My bosses give me this, my bosses give me that. And after those post-COVID or those who have started work today, there's so many things to do. I have to arrange manpower, I have to start operation, I need to start production, I have to arrange for a lot of things. I have to relay out the office. So the job demanding is that. There's demand for your job and the workload. And of course, we know that everyone is stressful from work, from home, and also school or elsewhere. But let me ask you, why are you stressed in the first place? Okay, and leading that from stress, you get burnout. When you get burnout, what happens is you have a conflict with your work colleagues, with your bosses, even at home, because you're burnout, you're so tired, and you're not able to think that well. So instead of working harder, why not work smarter? How are we going to work smarter? It's easy to say than done, but let me guide you through this, how to work smarter. Right? I'm going to guide you through this. Okay, so habits. Building blocks of powerful model of personal change. A habit actually will change a person's life, believe me or not. If you have a habit, example, one of these people, some people may wake up early in the morning, they have plans, meaning that wake up in the morning, go for the routine exercise, have a wonderful breakfast, then they start their work. And some may not wake up so early in the morning, they may not have any exercise, and they just have their breakfast and rush to work. So when you have these two different kind of people, you will see that the person A compared to person B have developed a different skill altogether. And the habit they have, they're going to live a healthy life, and person B is going not so healthy life, because you're not going to do exercise, you're not doing exercise. When you do the exercise, you actually have a better thinking process. You look at things more differently, you have better ideas, because what happens when you do exercise, there is some chemical that released from your brain to actually better organize certain things, even prioritize certain things, and even gaining control of yourself, which is very important. Okay, so as I said, habits is something that we do repeatedly and do excellent. It's not a hack, but a habit. All right, and also Stephen Covey, if you have seen his videos or if you have read his book, a habit is that intersection of knowledge, skill, and desire. If you desire to do certain things, you will keep repeating the example. If you are a smoker, or if you drink, or if you're playing games in a handphone, or even if you're drinking a coffee, have you heard people that, hey, this coffee make my day? It is something that we are actually addicted to it, and we are happy to do it. When you're happy to do it, there is a chemical from your brain called dopamine. Dopamine is something that when you're happy, your brain actually releases that. And what happens is you have a better feeling. And meaning, okay, example, your child, I'm going to go direct to the example. Your child is playing a handphone, a game in a handphone. He or she is so addicted to it. If you take it off, they will get very emotionally disturbed. They may be angry. They are not. They may be disturbing you, and so on. Not only child, I think even for adults, some of us love playing games in a phone, in video game, computer game, or some people just love watching TV. Or some people must have 3 coffees per day. But let me tell you, that is all habit, and this habit is from it is encouraged from the dopamine. Dopamine meaning that once you have this release, you feel very happy. So when you drink a coffee, example, or if your wife or your mom is cooking a favorite dish, when you go back home, by the time you enter the home, the smell gets into your nose, and you're thinking, wow, that's my favorite dish. My mom is cooking, or your spouse is cooking. So you're like, you kind of feel excited about it. You feel very happy about it, and that's where all the dopamine actually is being released, and you feel it's so happy, and it is so you want it more. If you notice, human being has actually become less sensitive comparatively to animals. When you talk about that, I'm saying those days people, when they do not have all those gadgets with them, all those technology with them, people can actually smell it's going to rain. People can actually feel the soil as something is going to happen. Just like the sensitivity of other animals. Animals actually, they migrate, like birds and so on. They know that, okay, there is some weather changes, so they actually migrate to a different place because they don't see news, they didn't get news, but the sense can tell you that this is going to happen, and they get early signal. Human being was like that before. Before we had any technology, but our sensitive level actually get reduced because of technology, and those intake that we are taking, example like alcohol, caffeine, coffee, tea, actually reduce our sensitivity. So we don't even know when there's someone standing behind us. We are not even that kind of sensitive. We don't realize what is happening, because why? The dopamine level has actually reduced a lot. I mean, sorry, produced a lot, whereby your sensitivity of certain things actually decline. When you start to decline, your sensitivity actually reduces. So the amount of dopamine is very important. Too much, you can also have hallucination. You can become a maniac. People who does crime. All those people have imbalanced dopamine. So this kind of dopamine actually creates a habit that you want to do it more and more. Example, like a drug addict, no matter what you tell him or her, she will definitely want to go back to the drug. Because why? The dopamine level is so high that without that dopamine, I mean, once the dopamine is released, they need to have this drug in their body. All right. So that's part, because the dopamine is something like a neurotransmitter or a messenger giving message to your body. So that's how it works, dopamine. I'm not going to go dwell too much on that. It is too detailed. All right. Okay, so now the habits that I'm going to walk through you, there's 7 habits, which is be proactive. Number 2, begin with the end of the mind. Put first thing first. think win-win. And habit number 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Number 6 is synergize and sharpen the saw. So these are the habits that I'm going to walk through. Probably some of you perhaps may have went through this habitual training. And let me tell you, this information could be obtained from Stephen Covey's book. All right, so habit number 1, be proactive. Sounds very common, isn't it? Be proactive. Well, I'm proactive enough, probably you're saying. But let me tell you, being proactive is a decision, it's the most important thing or the vital foundation of your life. Being proactive. Being proactive does not mean, okay, I'm being proactive to resist whatever the government initiative is. That is not being proactive. Proactive being is from you. Proactive means you program your life. Example, to be proactive, example, the COVID has actually come to a situation that many people probably have lost their job, lost their source of income, may lose certain grips. But some look at it not complaining about COVID, but how can you change yourself, being proactive to see, okay, I'm going to adapt to the new environment and develop certain things for myself. Which is very important to be proactive instead of saying that actually, okay, reactive meaning this, instead of being proactive, you be reactive, meaning that, okay, let's wait and see what is after MCO, what is after post-COVID, what am I going to do? Let's wait. That's being reactive, or getting direction from your company. Getting direction from your company, meaning that, okay, person A said, or your bosses said, okay, let's do this, let's do this. This is receiving instruction and you being reactive. But being proactive is you are looking at certain things, you know your organization well, and you're going to do certain things saying that, okay, hey boss, this is what I have, this is what I think we should do. I have already created certain things, said I'm going to do it. So being proactive in certain things, meaning that I'm not just talking about organization. There's two things in being proactive. One is you. Being proactive is you program your life. You are the programmer of your life. Nobody else is going to program your life. Example, when we go to school, we always say the teacher is no good. Our child complain about the teacher. We all say the government is no good. We always say the environment is no good. Everything is no good. This is not being proactive. We are not programming. We are letting someone else to program us. Why are we allowing that to happen? Why do we allow someone else to program you? Not even your parents should program you. It's you determine your life, what you want to be. So you be what you want to be and being proactive. You take responsibility of your life, not others. You don't complain, I do not have a good life, I do not have a better childhood life. You could be anything. But let me tell you, you program your life, you make changes to your life, and you want to surround yourself with something better, so you take the proactive measures. It's you. All right. How many of you actually like rain? Example, if it's going to rain out today outside there, how many of you like rain? Can you check? Can you put yes there in your chat column? Let's have interaction. How many of you like rain? Yes, okay. A few of you. It's raining in Penang. Okay, all right. Okay. Okay, some say no, all right. Some may like rain, some may not like rain. Okay, sometimes. All right. Okay, and then I want to ask you, is it is it better to feel better? Meaning that if you feel better, you do things better. If you agree, can you put yes as well? If you feel better, you do it better. How many of you agree with that? Yes. All right. So when you feel better, you do things better. Okay, let me tell you, if there's no rain, let's say it's hot outside there, and if you can create the rain, that means you create the environment in you, meaning that a rain that created within you, you feel the rain inside you. Hey, you don't have to wait until the rain comes out. You feel the rain inside you. So once you feel the rain inside you, you enjoy the atmosphere, you enjoy the environment. Why can't you be the environment that you want to be? Why do you need to wait for the rain to fall? Why can't you actually energize yourself while waiting for others to energize you? Why don't you make yourself feel better and do things better? Why wait people or the environment or anything else to make you feel better, then you feel better? Do you agree with me? If you say agree, type agree. Because you determine your life. That is why I've been proactive. Proactive is not disagreeing about something. It's being about you. All right, being proactive about you. All right, some said yes, sunshiny day. Doesn't matter. Bring the sunshine in you. All right, does not mean rain. It's just an example of rain. But if you have sun, you love sun, bring the sun in you and be what you want to do. All right, so great. Okay, so you are in control. Don't let others to be in control. All right. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so begin with the end in your mind. Okay, so so far so good on be proactive. Okay, so I'm going to go to habit number 2. Begin with the end of the mind. So everything we do, actually we exempt to the next content, while we must know our destination. Okay, so if someone asks you where do you want to be in next 5 years, what your answer would be? Example, you want to go left or you want to go right? Or some may say that I do not have a plan yet. If you don't have a plan, it's something what you call is there's no destination for you to go. And okay, let me tell you a story. I'm going to tell you another story. Okay, so this is a big event happening. And I want you to imagine this, every one of you, I want you to imagine this. Probably close your eyes and you can imagine this. You're walking into a big ballroom, a very big ballroom. And you're walking into there and you see a red carpet. You see a huge amount of crowd, thousands of people inside this ballroom or auditorium, or even a stadium. You're walking into that with a red carpet. And you're slowly moving towards the stage, and you're actually starting to look at the speaker on the stage, and you're starting from the foot. You're looking from the shoe onwards. You see a very nice shoe, and then slowly moving up your eyes to the leg, to the body, and to the face. And now you notice that the speaker is actually you. You are the speaker. And you are going to deliver, and you are the most successful speaker on that day, or maybe nationwide or worldwide. Imagine that you are the best speaker and it is your show. It is your show. You are the actual person that you are seeing now, right? So can you imagine if you are a so successful trainer or a speaker or someone that you have desired to be, what would your comments from your parents or your spouse, your friends would be? What do you think they're going to comment, or what kind of comments do you want to receive from the people that you are actually looking at you or viewing you? Can you type some comment? What do you think? What kind of comments do you want your people to say? Your friends, your spouse, your relatives, your friends, whoever. Are you able to imagine? You can open your eyes now if you're still closed. Go open your eyes now, and then could you write down the comments? What kind of comments would you like to receive? Okay, wow, Zara from Zara is wow, great presenter, well done. All right, yeah, you're a well-known speaker. Yeah, that was a great speech. Okay, so this kind of good comments you want to have. Okay, so now, first thing you have to do is mirror yourself. Mirror yourself into organization, meaning that, okay, what you want to be, what you want to achieve for the next. So what you're going to do is you're going to mirror yourself. Let me tell you, your teachers, your surrounding, your friends, even your spouse should not mirror what you want to be. Your family or parents cannot, or we don't push our child to say, tomorrow you must be this, tomorrow you must be that. Example, if you're wearing a power glass, if I'm going to take this power glass of mine and give it to you to wear it, will it suit you? The answer is definitely no. My power glass will never suit you. But for the sake, for instance, I'm saying that, okay, please try hard, please try hard. No matter how hard you try, my power glass is never going to suit you, because whatever suits you is only going to suit you. So you have to start in a mind what you're going to be in the next 5 years or 3 years, what you're going to be. You have to decide what you want to be. So you have to begin your journey at the end of the mind, meaning that at the end of the mind, what you're going to be. So you're going to work things in reverse order. Most of us say, okay, I'm going to start now. Let's see what's going to be the end. No, that is a wrong habit. The habit we're going to change is, okay, next, what is my organization going to be in the next 5 years? You have to imagine from the end. So we work towards from the end, from the beginning. We work in a reverse way, meaning that you already see what you want to be. You have a mission statement, all right? You have your agendas already ready, and you want to see that, okay, this is what I'm going to be in the next 5 years. This is how I'm going to look, and this is the comments I'm going to get. This is what I want in my life. Most of us actually fail because you cannot be what you want, because you're not proactive. You don't program your life. When you don't program your life, how are you going to reach the destination you desired? So habit number 1 actually talk about you are the programmer. And then habit number 2, you're going to start programming your life. You're going to program your life, because by programming your life, you will actually understand what needs to be done, because you program it. Proactive, you program, you are a programmer. Number 2, you're going to program what you're going to be in next few years. So imagine this. That's one more powerful thing that you need to do. Every time before you go to bed, let me tell you, imagine what you're going to be. That means begin with the end in your mind. What you're going to be in next few years, what you want to do. Imagine that every day before you sleep. Let me tell you, my friend, things will work if you put the priority correctly and you are proactive. If you're going to just imagine certain things and go to sleep and do nothing, nothing's going to happen. All right. So plan. You must have. Do you have a personal mission statement? Because in industry, a lot of industry, they have their mission statement. They have, and you probably help them to write even the mission statement. But let me ask you, my friends, do you have your own personal mission statement? If you don't have, please get it done, because it's very, very important, because you're going to start programming your life. And if you're going to start programming your life, if you go to your industry, look at it, how things are going to work. If you're targeting your life, probably now you're an engineer, probably want to become a manager, become a director, a CEO of the company. If you're going to imagine that, you must know what are you going to develop in your organization. Are you going to be a businessman? Whatever you're going to be, imagine what you're going to do. So what is your mission? And if you have a mission, please stick strictly to the mission until you achieve that, which is very, very critical. Most of us do not have a personal mission. That is the saddest part. Do you agree? All right. So, example, and another example, when you have a mission, it is every time when we do certain things, if you're in a building, in your house, we do it twice. What do I mean by doing twice? Meaning that if you want to build a house, you have to have the infrastructure, meaning that the drawing comes up first. So the mission statement is actually the drawing of what you want to be. After you have a drawing, example, you want to build a building, a house, anything you want to build, you must come up with a blueprint, and you draw the blueprint, make sure every corners satisfy your requirement. The safety portion is that everything meets the requirement, the authorities requirement, the safety requirement, whatever requirement it is, it has to be met. Once that is met, only then you start to build the building. So that is always twice you look into an issue. One is visually, second thing is physically. So visualize it, and physically it will happen. But when you visualize it, make sure the visualizing things is actually captured every details that what you want to do. It's not about, okay, I have a visual 20% and physically let things happen as what is going to happen. That is not the way things happen. You have to visualize, make sure everything is there, it's been captured. Once that is captured, you want to build this building beautifully. Okay, so that is part of the habit number 2, visualizing what is very critical, and visualizing what's going to happen at the end of the day. Okay, so when you start certain things, now you're going to program what is in your mind. So imagine what's going to happen and how you're going to program it, which is very, very critical. Okay, so and habit number 2 also emphasizes, if you have a circle or in your mind, the center point of your mind, what is the centric point? What is the most important thing in your life now? Is it work? If you have work, example, everything, even you go back home, you're going to relate work to your child, you're going to relate your work to your spouse, you're going to relate your work to your mom, parents, you're going to relate work to your family. That is not the best centric that you should focus on, because if you're going to start with something in your mind should focus on something very, very important as a center point, because you got to start somewhere. Because you may ask me, hey, how am I going to start imagining certain things? How am I going to actually visualize certain things? And how am I going to execute, or the first step to do? The first thing that you need to do, you have to draw a circle. Draw a circle. All right, draw a circle, a pie chart, right? To be clear, do a pie chart. Inside the pie chart, you're going to have a bull's eyes, a center. And this center is the most important center, what you want to focus on. What do you think you should focus on? Anyone can give some comments on the chat? Anyone? You want to comment? What do you think the center should be? What do you think you want to focus? Okay, Sarah say health. Anyone else? Just try. There's nothing wrong, nothing right. We are learning together. So just try to say a few things. Let's hear money. Okay, very practical. Wealth, health. Okay, so the most important thing in the center is the principles. The principles is very, very important, because when you say health, maybe you say wealth, of course it is important, but the center thing is always the principles that you carry. What kind of principle that you want to achieve end of the day? What are the principles that you want to carry with you, which is very, very important. From that principle, you can actually talk about health, wealth, money, family, or whatsoever. So your central point should be your principle that you want to hold. Everyone, I believe there is a principle in life. All right, this principle is something very, very important. All right, so when you deviate from that principle, all right, what happen is, you know that, hey, I'm going off track. So you come back to your track, and that become your principles. So a principle is very, very important to be situated at the center of that pie. Okay, all right, so that is very important. All right, so we lead actually 3 types of lives. One is public life. All right, we have private life, and we have the deeper inner life. All right, public life could be anything. All right, today you can public life meaning, yeah, social community, talking, working. That could be a public life. Private life is something that, yeah, you can sit at home and do many things. You can watch your favorite movies. You can wear a simple t-shirt sitting down and do your own thing in a private life. But the most important thing is the deep inner life. Deep inner life, that how you grow in certain things, what you want to be. Let me tell you, my friends, there are so many people, successful people, actually grow from difficulty, cruelty, poor, and also abuse. People have become very, very successful. They have not complained about, I'm being abused, so I lost everything in my life. I come from a poor family, so I can't achieve certain things. So that is not the excuse that you should give. So if you have a principle to achieve that, let me tell you, my friends, you will definitely achieve what you have desired for. Okay. So for any questions? Am I too fast? Is that clear? Any comments? You can check the comments. It's okay, then I'll just proceed. Great. So, okay. So next I'm going to talk about habit number 3, put first thing first. All right, put first thing first is something, what is very important to you? What do you think? Because everybody say I have a lot of things to do. I have personal development. I have holidays to do. I have to take care of my families. There's so many things you need to do. But if you fail to do the first thing first, or what to put as first, let me tell you, you may not have enough time maybe you may miss out, because you may say, I'm too busy. I have no time to call my parents. That is something very wrong. A lot of people have actually missed out on that, talking to their parents. Probably they don't even call them every day. They call them every once a month. Oh, sorry, mom, I have no time. Or maybe the parents call them, sorry, I'm busy now. I got to do this. I got to do that. That is something that we are failing on. All right, we have to focus on relationship than schedule. All right, you don't give schedule. Can you give a schedule to your spouse saying that, okay, I will only talk to you 9 p.m. onwards? Can you give a schedule to your wife or spouse or your family? Can we do that? Can I have some comments? Yes or no? Definitely no. So in relationship, there's no schedule. So you can't run a schedule to your spouse, your family, your child, or your child is crying for milk. Okay, you say, no, it's not time for milk yet. So you can't say no. All right, so we have to rather schedule on relationship. Okay, why am I saying this? Okay, so we're always talking about time, we're talking about schedule, we're talking about control, we're talking about efficiency, doing things faster. Can we also gauge our spouse? Hey, you are efficient today. Can we gauge our family, or can we gauge our friends? Because all this efficiency time is good for production, it's good for productivity in industry words. But in your life, we're not talking about efficiency, but how effective is it? Efficiency, regardless of whatever you're doing, but whether it's effective or not, that counts. All right. So relationship cannot be a schedule. Principles, not a value. Leadership, then management. All right. And a compass, then a clock. You should have a compass, not a clock. Clock meaning that you're always counting. When should I complete this? You're rushing for time after time. But if you have a compass, you know what direction you want to be. So instead of looking at the time first, but look at the compass first, because compass will tell you which direction you want to go. So define your compass first, define your direction first before you are actually rushing up for time, which is very critical. All right. And when you talk about leadership, be a leader first, and then you start doing that management. Without being management, without being a leader, everyone starts to manage. Let me tell you, leadership is much more crucial. You lead, as I say in the first habit. You prioritize. You want to become what you are. You program your life. So leadership actually shows what you want to be. Only after being a leadership, then you go to the management portion. So in the industry, after those who have started work or after post-COVID, we want to be a leader than being a management staff. We want to show things first, how things are done first. We want to be an example, because leaders have to lead by example, walk your talk. So be a leaders, okay? And most important thing is principle, not the values. We're talking about, okay, I want to meet numbers, I want to meet my targets. Don't talk about targets and values at this point of time. Of course, we are behind schedule. This is a traditional operational talk, because I've been there in operational for 20 years. I've been an operational director and been rushing for outputs, production, this kind of, we talk about numbers, numbers, and numbers. But hey, what is the principle now? The principle now, very basic principle now, you want to make sure everyone is safe at work. This is the first principle after post-COVID, or whoever's going to work. This is a basic thing. Everyone comes to work has to be safe. That is the first principle. You have to make sure safety first, because after this, today, we don't want this COVID crisis to become worse, this pandemic to become worse. We don't want to see from 3 digits to become 4 digits. That is the last thing we want things to happen. So the principle is very, very important. So it's not about the values, it's not about the numbers, it's not about chasing the customers, it's not about looking at what you want to achieve, but it's about the principles. Principle also educating people, example, giving training, preparing to actually face the current situation, which is very, very important. All right, and relationship, as I say, relationship is something that you want to build. As a leader, you go to the company, you want to make a better relationship, because you may have a few good people who wants to help you or are being proactive in that industry, and you have to build this relationship, because you're not talking about, okay, you call your manager, hey, I want to meet this schedule, I want to meet this, I want to meet that, I want to talk to customer. You want to do everything in under one roof. That is not important at this point of time. The most important thing now is building relationship. So there are 4 things you have to look at this point of time: relationship, you have a principle, you have a leadership, and you want to have a compass. This is something that you want to do. And habit 3 is, as I said, habit number 1, you are the programmer. Habit number 2, you write the program. And habit number 3, you run the program now. How are you going to run, and what is priority for the program? You're going to run it now. This is very, very important. All right, so on a paper or maybe on the chat now, can you tell me what is the most important thing for you now? Number 1. And from what actually really matters to you, could you just write down in the chat, what is the most thing that important to you at this point of time? And yeah, probably just that. What is the most important thing for you now? Can anyone just chat? So there will be interaction. All right, some say career. What else? What is most important to you now? Okay, important things: family, be safe, health, family, and career. Okay, so what is the supreme thing that you want to achieve in your life? Okay, some say still employed. Yeah, that's good. What is the most supreme thing in your life that you want to achieve? Relationship stability. All right. So what I want you to do after this webinar, probably get a paper, and then I want you to actually list down what is the supreme thing that you want to achieve, 1 to 5, and or what is the most important thing in your life that you want to achieve. You list it 1 to 5, because this is actually something is how you want to put things first, how things going to happen. Okay, so this is something that you want to achieve, and I'm going to show you the next slide, how you want to imagine what is most important. All right, so let me bring you to the next slide. Next slide is actually a video.
There is no sound.
There's no sound. I can hear the sound. Okay, just watch the video. Actually, it says a lot of things. There's no one talking, so just continue to watch the video. Okay, so if you have seen the video, we look at the pebbles, the big pebbles and the small pebbles. All right. What is most important thing is those big pebbles and the small pebbles. The small pebbles actually is about, example, going for a movie, having an appointment with a friend, watching TV, going to pizza, going for a small, maybe a holiday could be a big pebble. So when you want to put a big jar, if you put all the small pebbles inside, it's so difficult to put the bigger pebbles into it. You can't even fit into the jar. But what happened is, if you put the most important thing, the bigger pebbles first into the jar, and you start filling out. Example, you have a family goal, meaning that I want to go a family holiday, which is very important to you. And you have a personal success, or you want to grow your business. You want to meet with big projects. All right, so these are the big things, pebbles that you want to put in first. And of course, after you put in these big pebbles, the priority, and you put in the small pebbles inside. Once you put the small pebbles, these pebbles can actually go into everywhere, and you'll be surprised that you actually fit everything into the jar. So, but if you fill up all the small pebbles inside first, when you put the big pebbles, you will notice that these big pebbles, there's no room for it to go in. So the priority in your life are the bigger things. Look at the bigger things first rather than the small thing, because a lot of people sometimes focus on small issues. Example, COVID is definitely a big issue, but don't let COVID actually bother your life. You have to continue with the journey. Why do you make a COVID as a big pebble and actually obstruct your growth? You want to break this into small pieces, all right? Be a small piece of your life, but you want to have bigger pebbles, which is much priority. Your priority is, of course, your family, your career, all right, your health, your wealth. So these are your big pebbles. You want to put in the big pebbles into the jar first, and then for those small important things, teeny weeny things, example, watching a video, going out for a food, meeting up with a friend, all those entertainments, these are considered small little things. So that's what the whole video talks about. All right. Of course, you didn't hear the music, but there's no one talking in the video. It's just a music, and I think the statement is there. So I hope you understand from what I'm trying to say. Was the video okay? Any comments on the video or understood? Some comment. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next slide. All right, time management grid. Time management grid. This is something from Stephen Covey as well. So the important things and the urgency things. Okay, so now the urgent and important example like deadline and exam. Okay, real crisis, emergency, last minute preparation, meaningful appointment. All right, so these are urgent and important. Okay, so but this still can be managed. But the next thing is not urgent but important. If you look at over here, so it is about planning, problem prevention, self-development, health, quality relaxation, relationship building. So this is something that we are told to be focused. After some research has done, this is the focus that you should have. It may not be very urgent, but it's very important. And that is the focus you should have. All right. Next is urgent, not important. All right. Some calls, email, reporting, someone else's problem, gossiping, and so on. It is something that you should avoid. It may be urgent. Some people need your attention. Some people may need your advice. Yes, it may be urgent, right? But if it could be avoided, please avoid it. Because what you're going to focus is this. Because planning is something you're programming yourself, which is very, very important. And this habit, I'm trying to divert the whole habit of being timely and being scheduleful, but more focusing on relationship, because relationship actually builds many things. When you have good relation, things really happen. All right, and not urgent and not important, social media, watching TV, gossiping, shopping, and so on. This one you should limit. There is no urgency for that. Okay, so this is your priority. What you can do is you can do your own time management grid, and you see what is most important, but you're still able to manage. But let me tell you, this point is what you need to focus. All right, the focus point may not be urgent, but it's very important, and you got to focus it. Right. So next, I'm going to go to the win-win, thinking win-win. Okay, thinking win-win is it's not about giving up things. Okay, win-win. Some of you say, okay, never mind, let him take it. Never mind, I will compromise. When you compromise, it is not win. All right, or if you have a win-lose. When you have a win-lose, you're actually poisoning your life. let me tell you that you should not get a proposal that you think that you should have win-lose. Example, if you are happy and satisfied with what the proposal is, and the other party actually accepts your proposal as well, then it is considered as a win-win. But if you say, okay, never mind, I'm not going to do this because you think it may not happen, but in deep inner you do not accept it, that is a win-lose situation. Anything is been compromised is not win-win. A win-win should be compromised by both, meaning that they let go of something and you let go of something, then there is a win-win. Or you work out a solution out of possible things, right? Meaning that you have to gain trust from person A, and the person A actually gain trust from you, and you come up with a solution that may compromise on certain things, and also mutual understanding or mutual habit. Okay, win-win is something that you can share knowledge, you can actually have benefits together, because in this COVID pandemic, when you look at the organization, and the organization is actually, a lot of companies losing money in the hotel industry, whatever industry, we know that they are losing money. So when you say win-win situation, if the company says, let's cut 50% of your salary, do you think it's a win-win situation? Yes or no? Let me think, what do you think about win-win? That is no. Okay, it's not a win-win situation. But if you are able to propose, okay, example, okay, we're going to work for 4 hours daily, and you come up with a 50% salary, and probably that could be a win-win situation, because you work 50% and you gain 15% salary, because you want to save the electricity utility costs, and you only work 4 hours rather than getting 0. So it is a win-win situation. That means you negotiate and you have a mutual understanding, and you're able to, so this is something that you say win-win. Okay, and it's not win-win. Another way is like you lose and they win, or you win and they lose, or you compromise. That is never a win-win situation. And another win-win situation is how you drive certain things. Example, if you win and lose, strong and weak, hard and soft, these are the example. But this is producing criticism in a culture. A culture of this sort of mentality, actually a culture that's going to lose. Let me tell you, in Malaysia, we have multi-cultural, and we have differences. Actually, these differences is something magnificent that not all nations have in this world. And let me tell you, we are not actually using our strength. Differences actually give a lot of new development, a lot of new ideas, a lot of new dimension that we can achieve, which we can say there's abundance of new knowledge can be gained. Instead of complaining, instead of sidelining, it's not a win-win situation. So if you want to have a win-win situation, the first thing you have to do is be open-minded, and being matured in certain things, balance courage. You have to be courageous, because sometimes some quiet introverts or extroverts. Introverts, probably they choose to be quiet. Extrovert maybe could be very loud, and we say, okay, yeah, well, I just accept what you say. That is something we don't call it as maturity. We have to speak out. We have to speak out and justify when you say it's win-win. All right. And developing the understanding of what is required is very, very. We agree not to disagree agreeably. Is this a win-win? That means we agree to disagree agreeably. Sometimes we agree, okay, even though we don't agree, but we kind of agree. So it's something that is not a win-win situation. We want to win the situation overall. Okay, so let's look at certain ways when you go back to your organization, when we go out there with meeting with our friends, anywhere we go, definitely we meet up people. So in this meet up people, we want to have create a situation, because when you have a win-win situation, let me tell you, people will be willing to share more things. Don't be scared of sharing knowledge. If you're going to share knowledge, if you're scared that someone's going to steal your knowledge, let me tell you, you're not going anywhere. Because once you start to share, the organization or the people surrounding you will know that sharing is giving. Once you start to share, people will develop this kind of culture. People will start to share a lot more things. When you start to share, the pie is actually getting bigger, bigger, and bigger. When the pie is getting bigger and bigger, there's more things to share. So don't worry about if somebody is going to take off my portion, what do I have left with? Don't worry, my friends. Once you start to share, once you start to give knowledge, don't be with knowledge. Huh? You share with them your knowledge. Let me tell you, the pie will get bigger and bigger. And let me tell you, the organization will be, there's a lot, out there, there's abundance of big pies, abundance, a lot of things that you can achieve. So don't be critical to share your knowledge, because as a trainer, as a speaker like me, we will love to share knowledge and develop people's career or even change people's life. If few of you from here could develop these few habits, I'm happy that my mission has been accomplished. Okay, so this is habit number 4. I'm going to go to the next habit. It's about seek first to understand, then to be understood. Okay, so a very good example. When you go and meet up with the doctor, the first thing doctor do is diagnose you what is your problem. All right, understanding what is your problem, and then he or she will prescribe the medicines or whatever that you have to do. Okay, because without understanding what is your problem, if the doctor, he or she, is going to give you, okay, you come in, I'll give you a paracetamol, I'll give you a Panadol. Every time you go to a doctor, that's what you get, right? And that become a big issue. Or even if you go to a lawyer, the first thing you have to do is explain exactly what went wrong. You have to explain to yourself and understand what is happening to you, or what is the case, or what is the crime you commit, or what is the crime you did not commit, so that once he or she understands you, he or she is able to support you on the case. Okay, so this is the portion of the lawyer. So if you want to be understand, then to be understood. So what you want to do is, when you want to approve certain thing, you have to understand the situation. When you go back to your organization, you want to understand the current situation of that organization first. Okay, if you don't want to say that I don't care what happened to the organization, I get my salary, I make sure I have still job to do, and this is what you want to have, and that is totally wrong. Because we are in a situation, a pandemic situation, we need to understand what exactly is going on that organization, which is very, very crucial. You have to understand, probably the managers is seeking some information. You want to really understand, okay, we need to run this, we have to do this. There's some countermeasures that the organization is doing. And before they could start doing, you want to ask, why are we doing this approach? And then make sure everyone understands. Because in some organization, the organization that I was working with, we had about close to 2,000 people. So when we have our management meeting, and if the management, after management meeting, we talk to our managers, supervisors, leaders, and so on. So what happened if this information is not transpired to the operator, up to the operator level, they just say, okay, you have to do this. I'm going to cut the overtime. I'm going to cut this. I'm going to do this. But hey, the people don't understand the situation of the company. All you do is just give instruction. You are not seeking for understanding. So the people have to understand the situation of the industry first, the organization first, before they can understand what is going on. So what you have to do is you are obligated to actually explain what is happening, the situation of the company, the situation of the environment, or situation of all what is happening around you. It is your responsibility. All right. So even before the manager say, okay, I'm going to cut 10% of your salary, understand what is going on, what is going to happen. If 10% of the salary is going to happen, or 20% salary deduction, understand the company status first. Because if you're going to demand, no, we are not going to work until you give us full payment, what is going to happen? Probably you'll be losing your job and the company has to wind up. So that is not what we want to happen. So we want to make sure that company still makes minimum profit and can keep the employment of many people. So we need to understand what is happening. So seek first to understand, then to be understood. So only after that you tell, okay, my people is actually having this problem and you want to talk to the management. So what happened? You go back to habit number 4. You have a win-win situation, meaning that, okay, you seek to understand the company problem. Then you say, okay, our people is having this much of problem. I think we should review the policy. I think we should review certain things. Then we do that. So understand the problem, then you tell yourself to the people so that they will understand you better. Okay, so that is example of a habit number 5. Okay, so another thing that I want to talk about habit number 5 before I go to synergy. Habit number 5 is like our parents, or we as a parents, when we tell our child, our kid, or our spouse, our siblings, you will say sometimes say, hey, I have sacrificed my life to actually give you this education. I've done this for you so that you can be like this. Or maybe to your friend, you say, hey, I've done this for you, I've sacrificed for them, and you must follow me. This is something very, very wrong. Don't force anything that you want to be to someone else. You can't force your child, you must be a doctor, you must be a lawyer, you must be an engineer, you must be this, you must follow my step. This is something wrong. This means you're not understanding what the person wants to be or who he or she wants to be. All right, very good example is students, they have their own career. Sometimes some of the kids, they say, hey, I want to be a singer, a popular singer, I want to be a footballer, I want to be this, I want to be that. But the parents said no, because I have sacrificed my life. I'm working very hard to give you money. I'm going to give you this. So you have to be what I want you to be. This is something totally wrong. Because why? These people will not be very successful because they're not doing, or you are not understanding what they require instead of putting what you want into them. This is another example. Okay, so right, with that, I'm going to go to habit number 6. Habit number 6 is talking about synergize. What is synergy? What is synergize? Synergy, we know that it's working together. Okay, synergize happen when there is people working together. Example, in synergy, there's 3 types of output. Okay, 3 types of output. One, when a synergy, when it's something compromise. What do I mean by compromise? Compromise meaning that yeah, you told me to do, so okay, I'm going to work with you. Do you think that you're going to get a full energy from this synergy? I don't think so. Meaning that they are not doing full-heartedly. So for this case, the equation 1 + 1 is not equal to 2, but it's going to be like 1.5. The synergy is that I may not give you 100% because I'm forced to it. I'm forced to do certain things. So it's the synergy is going to be like, okay, 1.5. That is something we call as compromise. Or maybe, yes, I synergize with you, but I'm doing something else. Something else. So it is not known as synergize. It's not synergy. All right. And the negative thing is that again, the equation of 1 + 1 is going to be half, not even 1, or maybe 2. Definitely not 2, but it's going to be half because negative synergy. Negative synergy meaning that you're going to have a negative output, a negative recommendation, or the desired results are not created because the synergy is negative, because it is something not appropriate to be done. So the results is not going to be 1 + 1 = 2, but it's going to be half or even lesser than that. Okay, and the most best thing is positive synergy. Positive synergy 1 + 1 is not going to be 2, but it's going to be 3, it's going to be 4, it's going to be 5, it's going to be more, because positive synergy actually creates a lot of differences. It's going to create abundance of opportunity. It's going to create a lot of new features. So in your organization, when you want to synergize, what was before does not matter right now. It does not really matter. What happened before is history. What's going to happen is something you got to view. But what you're going to do now is much important, and it matters, really matters. Because with a positive synergy, if you're going to talk to your top management of synergy of what you're going to do to actually build up the company again, the organization again. This kind of synergy is not about departmental issue. You don't have to be your department saying that, okay, I'm a human resource, I'm from finance, all this can put aside. Now you want to synergize to build the company because you are the company now. It's not about department that matters, but you're going to synergize to build the company to what is being desired. What goal do you want to achieve in this synergy? All right, synergy is something, it's not about tolerating certain things. You don't tolerate in synergy. Synergy means you have a positive synergy, meaning that, okay, I'm going to tolerate him into this activity. It's not about tolerance, all right? It's something that you must celebrate. I synergize, things happen, you celebrate it. It's not about tolerance. It's not about, yeah, if you're going to say, yeah, I'm going to do it for that, and that is not a positive synergy, but it's more on compromise, all right? I'm going to ask you a question. Now, how many of us actually value our environment? Meaning that some will say, okay, is it important to control our environment? Okay, so or maybe I'll put it this way: the environment, the growth of our nation is impacting our environment. First question. Second thing is, how many agree the environment could be better managed without stopping our development? All right. So number one is, the question is, how many agree that our development is actually impacting the environment? Number one. And number two is, some group may say that yes, the development is important, but something else needs to be done for the environment. All right. So who agree with number one and who agree with number two? So just put there 1 or 2 in your chat column. So far, all 1. All right. So how about the development of a nation and something need to be done for the environment, or some special control need to be done in the environment? Okay, so 1 and 2. Okay, so I got some 1 and 2 as well. Okay, good. Because development is also equally important. Environment is also something very important. So that's why you go back to habit number, talk about win-win. All right, and also habit number 6 actually correlate with synergizing. You have a win-win situation, and you also want to talk about synergizing. So 1 and 2 actually is equally important because environment is also very important, and the development of the nation is also important. So we have to synergize and come up with a win-win situation so that we have a developed nation at the same time we have the environment covered, because we don't want to spoil our environment but just focus on development. It is wrong, but we can't stop the development and ignore the, just focus on the environment. So we don't go each way. So we have to focus on both. So synergy is important. So we have to synergize so that we have a win-win situation as well.
Mr. Prem, how many slides do you have? It's already nearly 12.
A few more. Just I think the last habit will be the next one. Just 2 or 3 more slides. Okay, so the next slide I'm going to talk about is sharpen the saw. Sharpen the saw is something very important. Also puts as, okay, this sharpen the saw may not be very important in some of you. It is something, example, how many of you actually drive car but forgot to put the fuel inside? You're too busy to put fuel for your car, but you say, I'm very busy. Very busy, but you actually forget to put fuel. But let me tell you, the fuel is so important for your car, and you rush in certain minutes, certain last minute to put the fuel. So busy is something, but this sharpen the saw is something very, very important in our life. Example, physical. Exercise is very, very important. Some people say, I'm too busy to do exercise. But let me tell you, without exercise, how can you be very healthy, and how do you actually manage your stress? Because some people, when they exercise, the stress just goes off. And how many of us actually take nutrition food? Because you say, okay, I'm very busy, I'm just going to grab something to eat. probably you're very familiar with that. So I would say that physical or sharpen the saw is something that the skill. One more thing is the skill, right? Skill is something like reading, or you talk about mental development, visualizing certain things, planning and writing, which is something very, very important as well. Because if you say you have no time for reading or to visualize or plan, so you're not putting the priority first thing first. Okay, so sharpen the saw may not be on the top list, but let me tell you, it's so much important that you must have, because reading is knowledge. Training is something that you need to attend to actually develop your skill and your knowledge. It's very, very important. And the next thing is the social and emotional thing. It's also very important. Social service, emotional is about ourselves. If you don't go out to meet people because you say, I'm so busy, I have no time to meet any of my relatives, my family, I have no time for this, I have no time for that, which is very, very crucial as well, because social is something that you have to develop. Social engagement is so important. And the emotional for yourself, emotional for your family, is also something is very important, because if you're not in this circle at all, you're so busy, because if your center is just work and business, all those things that is important in your life, you're actually missing it. Okay, and the final thing is the spiritual. Some may seek for spiritual important things, maybe the type of meditation, or some commitment. Some may have and some may not have in spiritual belief and so on. But you have to have some time for self-relaxation, sitting in a park, actually having a better environment, smelling the great new environment, the new air. And now the pollution is much lesser because of the COVID. Actually, COVID has helped us in many things, getting closer to our family and so on. All right. So this is the most important thing, sharpen the saw. These are the 4 elements I believe everyone should have. Okay. I need to rush a little bit because it's already 12. Okay. So what I want you to do is, I'm just going to go through this slide. Okay, so what I want you to do is a personal mission statement. I told you in the first few slides. So at the heart is the personal mission statement. Okay, what you want to be, okay, what you want to do, and what you want to have. This is what you want to do. And consider the role: student, friend, son, daughter. So add structure and balance to be, and to do, and to have. All right, and then consider the interaction. So what you want to do is all over here. And consider the roles: if you are a student, friend, daughter, father, mother, husband, wife, spouse, and so on. All right. And then what you have to do once you have this mission stated, and you want to review and modify regularly. All right. So this is what you want to do. Okay. So the last one is define success for yourself. It's not easy, and it is always easy to distinguish between an aspect of job that are truly necessary and that not. Meaning that how do you want to define yourself for success? It may not be very easy to define between the job and what necessary or truly is needed. It is not very easy. And also don't forget the many roles that you have. As a family member in the organization, a person may have different title, and every time it is important that your title and the roles actually change. All right, so with that, I'm going to end my slides. All right, so any questions? Okay, I'm done with the presentation, Dato. Any question for any participants?
So any questions? So we open for another 5 minutes. Actually, I got another meeting actually. So that's
Okay.
why so any I think I have to leave first. So any question you can straight away because I got another exactly 12. I've got another discussion actually. So please ask question to Mr. Prem. Please excuse myself. I'm so sorry. Thank you very much. So
No
see you
problem.
for the next session. Thanks a lot.
All right. See you. Thank you, Dato. Right. Any questions? I'll be taking some questions, and if you need to write to me, you can also write to me, and I'll be happy to send you this presentation. If you need
The
this
presentation slide, everything will be sent to the Telegram.
Oh, okay. All right. Great. Right, so I'm ready to take some questions if you have any anything to clarify.
Okay, we
So
will leave
I'll
this
pass
open
back
for
to
another.
Dr. Vincent to do the closing.
Sure.
Okay, we will leave this over 1 or 2 minutes. Then, if there's no questions, thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Mr. Prem. Thank for this insightful, insightful sharing, and it's really good, very useful. It's talking about mindset and so on. Okay, for the next session, stay tuned for our next session. Don't worry about the slides and don't worry about all the presentation in the Telegram group, as well as our Humanology Facebook, as well as UCBMIS Facebook. So stay tuned.
So those who haven't joined the Humanology Telegram, please join the Humanology Telegram. So it would be faster communication. Thank you.
Yeah, because once you join to this webinar, you can see a message. In the message, the links are all available there. So please, welcome. I welcome you guys to join our Telegram group. And if there's really no question, we will end the session now. Thank you so much, Mr. Prem. Thank you so much.
Yeah, welcome.
And thank you so much, CBMI and Humanology. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a nice day.
Bye.
I think there's one question: how to manage people that are not proactive during this time?
All right, Zara, yeah. Okay, so Zara, my answer to that is we need to give them some awareness of how to be proactive, because a normal human being may not have the sufficient knowledge of how they should react. So I would say the HR of certain, or maybe the leaders of certain department or section should actually tell them what is expected from them. And because everyone needs some guide, not everyone actually knows exactly what to do. So they need to be guided, and how to be proactive, maybe some tips how to be proactive, so that they can actually see the entire picture. Because if they are not able to realize, because everyone is panicking, how things going to be and how should I react towards it. So I believe a section with the top management or the leaders or the supervisors, or maybe a webinar, will actually help them to see, hey, how can I be proactive? So yeah, so these kind of people, they should talk to the management, or maybe talk to Humanology and engage few hours to actually give them some knowledge on being proactive. Did I answer your question, Zara? Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you so much, Zara, for the only question. So we will end this session now. Thank you so much. See you guys for the next webinar. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Prem.
All right,
Okay,
thank you.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.